Hey! Alright, everybody, before I show you, I want everybody to guess the color of my background. And everybody who gets it wrong is getting banned. And everyone who gets it right is getting mod and hero. Wow, that's a lot of banned people. A lot of banned people. I didn't think you'd throw it away that easy. I mean, like what? I say background, it's like, what? That's the first thing you say? I mean, what is all this shit, you know? Wow. Ah, what a shame. A lot of bans. There's a lot of bans. It's a lot of bans. Hey! Hello, everyone. Look how fresh I look. See? Now I got my money's worth with this camera. And, you know, I'm not in that dark, that dark fucking cave I was in. I'm only going to be here for a few days, though. And then after that, I'm going to be going to a new place. I'm like globetrotting, you know what I mean? I'm going all over pretty much. But I do look really good, don't I? Don't I? You know, really brings out the real me. Anyway. I am not really here to talk too much about this, right? But it's probably this is the best lighting I've ever had. I don't even have a ring light. I don't even have a ring light, and this is easily the best lighting I've ever had. And it looks like the most futuristic, the most modern, easily the best lighting I ever had. And that's where I get my money's worth for my camera. It's always been the lighting, right? Lighting is everything. But what I want to talk about. So I went to bed last night, and people did share. People did share some stuff. People shared some stuff about me going to the rally, which, you know, I went to sleep and I had one thought in my head. I said, how are they going to cope? Trying to think, how are they going to cope? Because I did have this idea that one of them might lie and be like, oh yeah, I was at the rally and like Haas got a black eye. He got knocked out. I was there. 50,000 likes. Or they're not that big. You know, 10,000 likes. And I was thinking of all the ways they could cope their way out of this. By the way, don't want to get your hopes up too much, but it's actually a possibility that the video comes out way earlier than we expected. So when I said 5 days yesterday, I mean, let me put it this way. There is a possibility, but not a guarantee, that the video gets finished tomorrow. Isn't that crazy? It's like it's pretty close, right? All the hard stuff. And I've been actively working with the editor, you know, live with these video sharing, and we're just going through the whole thing. And I think we want to make it 20 minutes. We want to condense it to 20 minutes because when you interview people, you know, it's a conversation, and sometimes a lot of the stuff is not relevant and a lot of the stuff is just filler. So we're cleaning everything up, and we're going to get it professional style. It's going to be very watchable. It's going to be similar to the other interview videos that you might be familiar with that you see. And this one is going to definitely, definitely at least get 20K views, I hope. I hope at least gets 20K views, right? Should get at least 20K, right? If it doesn't get 20K views, I'll be pretty disappointed. You know, if it doesn't get 20K views in like 2 weeks, I'll get disappointed. But it's not the end of the world because I don't regret it anyway. I'll be happy if it gets 10K, honestly, right? But yeah, so that one's coming out. Please give us the full VOD. I am giving you the full VOD. But I'm giving you a watchable one. It's going to be for mass, because I want this to go viral, is what you have to understand. I want a random person to be able to click on this and watch it. So, in other news, beyond that, so I went to bed and I was thinking about all the ways, how are they gonna, because I knew there was gonna be some way they're gonna cope with it. Because that is just like, that's such a W. It's like, you know what I mean? It is such a fucking W. That is just inarguably a W, right? So I went to sleep like, okay, how is this gonna be defeated? How is this gonna be shut down? How is there gonna be a response to this? And I really thought hard to myself, you know, what to expect. And I couldn't have predicted, honestly. It always happens in ways I can't predict. So as it turns out, the pushback that this got, the response, I mean, because you have to keep in mind, this destroyed the internet pretty much. Well, it destroyed the lefty internet, right? So you're not gonna believe it, but the overwhelming response, and I have to show it to you. You have to see it to believe it, right? Because it's like, it's actually a little bit sad. Well, okay, not a little bit. It's extremely sad. Okay, so check this out. This is literally the response. Okay, let me fucking find it. You're not gonna believe this shit, all right? You're not gonna believe the response. You're not gonna believe the response to me going to a MAGA rally, disproving what everyone said about the MAGA communism thing. And this is the response. Okay, ready? I'm gonna wait for this donation to go through. I'm gonna wait for this donation. Thank you, Saber.
Join the bald brother. Shave off your head.
No. I'm just not gonna. Maybe one day. But, guys, check this out. Ready? This is not a new camera. This is just new lighting. Very good lighting. All right, check this out, guys. Ready? So, I went to bed thinking, okay, all the way, how will they respond? What can they say? What can they fucking say, right? What could they possibly say? Because the whole thing was like, oh, it's terminally online. These people are just video game LARPers. Oh, if you go into a MAGA rally, you get fucking punched. You'll never be able to succeed talking to people. Oh my God, it'll never be possible. I mean, you don't let them gaslight you and make you forget this shit. Because for weeks, they were responding to that trending hashtag with one response. That one response was, this is never going to be possible. It can't be possible. And, you're never going to win anyone over. Oh my God, they'll never be open to you. They're going to punch you in the face. They're going to get so offended. You'll never be able to win over the MAGA people. It'll be impossible. And I literally just went and did it. I'll go to a MAGA rally and talk that talk. Okay, I literally did that, right? So I went to bed and I'm like, okay, how are they going to respond to this? Like, this literally, this destroys the left, pretty much. I already said that, right? I already talked about that. It destroys them. But I've never seen a community online that has so easily descended into collective psychosis to the point where it's like, really? Are you really gonna die on this hill? Is everyone in on this little cope here? Like, not one person has any self-awareness about how fucking pathetic this looks? Does no one have self-awareness about how fucking pathetic it looks that this is the response? So check it out. You have to see it to believe it. Of all the things, by the way, right? Of all the things to cope with, this is what they do. And you have to see it to believe it, because this is, I mean, I know it has to be botted, right? But $3,500 likes of attacking my jacket. 3,500 likes attacking my jacket. Really? I mean, that means 3,500 people voluntarily did the following. I mean, they voluntarily admitted that they're coping. Like 3,500 people have, not one person has the self-awareness to be ashamed about what a pathetic response this is. This is the best they have. This was literally their response. You couldn't have made it up. I think we tried to make fun of it yesterday. Like, oh yeah, Haas, they're probably just going to like make fun of your shirt, or they're going to make fun of your pants or something. Like, absolutely desperate, bottom of the barrel shit. And this is what they fucking decided. So to me, this looks like an indisputable W on my part. I cannot believe that people are so desperate that they'll just humiliate themselves in this way and like pretend like, oh yeah, it's totally your shirt that I'm thinking about. Yeah, I don't feel owned at all, Haas. You totally didn't destroy me. You totally didn't defeat every hill that I died on for the past month. No, I'm actually gonna make it about your jacket, Haas. And everyone's a fashion expert now. Look at this shit. If you look at the comments, they're all talking about the finer details of Parisian fashion. Oh, yeah. Okay, let me get this straight. So for weeks, the response to the MAGA communism thing was, oh, you'll never go, oh, you'll never touch grass, oh, all that shit, right? And then now, the response, and then when I finally do it and disprove them, now the response is, oh, the Parisian of the autocraft of the jacket blazer. What the fuck is this shit, man? What is this shit? According to my fashion sense, your blazer is not up to par with the fashion standards on the runway. You cannot go to the... What the fuck is this shit, man? You know what I mean? Like, what? Can you imagine? I'm so baffled that this, like, that people actually go on the internet and admit... I can't say this shit. I'm live and I'm on YouTube. But, like, they're going... Like, grown straight men have come out of the closet. And that's what's happened. And that's fine. I applaud that. This is a pro-LGBT community. Everyone clap. Everyone clap. Pro-LGBT community. And thousands, at least thousands of straight men have decided to log on the internet and come out of the closet. We are fashionistas now. It's not about politics anymore. It's about a... okay, let me put it this way, right? The best way I put it was in the Telegram, right? And this would have been a beautiful tweet. And actually, you guys should tweet this shit because it would be a beautiful tweet. And okay, so... This perfectly captures the spirit of the moment right now. So when you fail to spread MAGA communism on the internet, on Truth Social, 20,000 people will like it, and the whole MAGA communism thing is discredited. But when you successfully spread MAGA communism in real life at a actual fucking Trump rally with real people, your jacket? What the fuck is that? Can you fucking believe that? Don't let them make you forget what this...
Forever.
Yeah, thank you, Tristan. Yeah, it's like for a month on Truth, because on Truth Social, things didn't go well. It gets 20,000 likes and the whole thing is destroyed. But in real life, when I go to a literal Trump rally and it goes very well, your jacket, Hayes? What the fuck is this? It's so fucking... Bro, I've never had so many people submit to me this easily. And also, I want to address something. As well. So I have the infamous jacket right here. And there's a lot of males that I want to address directly, right? Because I know leftist males are known for being one of two things. Either disgusting fat fuck slobs, or they're extremely skinny males. So first of all, let's have a physique check of what Hayes looks like. So this is actually what I look like, believe it or not, you know? Like, this is what I look like, right? And online, I ordered, a blazer. Not one too fancy, and also wasn't too expensive. I just wanted to not to look too casual. And I got, let me see. It's a 38R. So if you see it right here, it's a 38R. It's the 38 regular, right? 38 regular. Which, by the way, right? 38 regular. So I got a 38 regular and it was a little too small. But a lot of people decided to make a pretty self-owning. It's actually hilarious. Think about this. Some people literally just own themselves on the fucking internet by saying that this jacket is a petite woman size. This jacket is 38 regular. If you can fit very well into a 38 regular, if you can wear a 38 regular and it's not too tight on you like it was to me, you're a fucking woman, bitch. Because this is what I fucking look like. The reason it didn't fit me well is because I look like this. No, and it actually wasn't that bad, but apparently you're not supposed to button it. And who the fuck knows these rules? I don't fucking know these rules. But this is what I look like, right? So that's why it looked that way. Thank you, Johnny.
Fuck leftists. Their opinion means less than
shit. So this is what I look like, and that's why it looks that way. But that's a 38 regular, which is a pretty common men's size, a 38. So even if you're a 38 tall or a 38 short, if you can fit into that comfortably and it's not going to be extremely tight on you, you just admitted you have a woman's body. Compared to me. That is how fucking masculine I am compared to you. I'm that fucking wide compared to you. So let that be known. Let that be shouted down on the fucking highest rooftops that you're a little bitch. You fucking pussy. You little fucking toothpick bitch. You literally admit on the internet you're a fucking bitch. Oh, that must be a women's jacket because it's tight on you. Well, it's tight on me because I'm so fucking big, you fucking dumb fuck. That's a 38 regular. And I bet you can slip into that just fine. Because you're a fucking pussy. Fucking toothpick. Think about it. Right? So that's like a double own. So there's two giant W's I amass. The first extremely huge W I amass. That's all they fucking got. The second one is probably like 2/3 of leftist men just gave away that they feel, in their own words, that they have a woman's body type. Because they could probably slip right into a 38 regular. I fucking can't. I'm probably a 44 to fit comfortably in a suit. I mean, I probably need to be 44. But this, this was cheap. I got this for like what, $100? This was cheap. I just got it last minute. I didn't give a... I'm not even gonna entertain this fucking fashion talk because I am a straight male, believe it or not. I know it's a rare thing among people calling themselves communists nowadays, but let's just talk about fashion now, guys. We lost the MAGA communism thing, so we're just gonna talk about fashion now. Really? Are you gonna concede to me that fucking easy? Really? 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 But that leads me to a good point, and I'm just having fun right now. In all seriousness, guys, I don't really think we should even talk to these people or respond to them in any capacity. I just thought it was kind of funny, but like the truth is, it's like, remember what I said yesterday. You gotta already be ahead and start thinking like, yo, we're past that. And that is not the conversation anymore. Like that's we're like, there's not, what are we going to say? There's nothing to respond with, right? They're just going to look. I saw them yesterday. I saw them behind the fence, the counter protesters. They're such vicious, bitter, sad, angry people. There's, I mean, like, okay, I guess there's thousands of them on the internet, but we're wasting time. We're wasting time even caring about the reaction. But the way I thought of it is, I was like a little curious. It's like a sports game. Like, oh, what are they gonna say? Like, what's because it's always kind of unpredictable. So it's fun to imagine what they're gonna say. But I guess the bar can go pretty fucking low. I guess people can really just, wow. I mean, what's next? You're gonna fucking start talking about my fingernails or some shit? You didn't get a pedicure. What the fuck kind of response is that? By the way, guys, So I guess, but I was thinking, I don't know, my mind just leads me in these directions. I was thinking when I do the change my mind in LA, I might just wear this blazer, this really tight one, which actually isn't really tight. I guess it just wasn't like a optimal size, but like by no means is it. I mean, I'm still gonna wear it and shit, but I guess it's not an optimal. It isn't an optimal size. It was pretty tight in it, but like I thought it looked good. But but I really should be taking the advice of these fucking fat, slob, degenerate, ugly fucking scum, right? These like disgusting, malformed, ugly fucking, barely even human. Those kind of fucking people, I should take their fucking advice, right? Suck my fucking cock, Fucking bitch. Anyway, wow, this lighting. Guys, have I ever had better lighting than this? Have I ever had better lighting than this? Have I ever had better lighting than this? Look at this shit. Look at this shit. And by the way, guys, look at this. Look at this. This is natty. You understand? Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. I've never looked better. Look at that. Look at that. See, this is why they want to shut it down. This is why they want to shut it down. Look at this. It's never happened before. This is why they want to shut it down. That's why they want to shut it down. You understand? This is why. That's the agenda. That's the agenda. That's why there's an agenda. Because that's threatening. You understand? That's threatening. I can take them all on at once. All those Democrat counter protesters. Every single one of them like fucking zombie apocalypse. One by one, let's go. And by let's go, I mean let's have a dance off, YouTube. I just mean a dance off. That's all I mean. I wasn't alluding to anything else. I was alluding to a dance revolution dance off, because I would totally win in that, right? After all, we're fashionistas now, and this is what we care about. This is what we care. Oh yeah, the whole MAGA communism thing. I forgot about that, but like I care about fashion so much now. Like you're gonna so many watch Hakeem's next video be about fashion. Hello, today I'm gonna talk about the history of men's blazers in Sweden. So the Swedes loved it. Everybody cares about fashion now. It used to be a thing like that non-straight people and women cared about, and now men care about it too. Which is fun. Oh my god, that fit is totally yesterday's model. Oh my god, this is shit. Bro, what am I fucking Paris Hilton or some shit? You're gonna just every outfit that I wear is a fucking news cycle now? It's so ridiculous. Think about it. Every outfit I wear now is breaking news. Hayes has a new shirt. Breaking news. Did you see Hayes' new shoes? Oh my god, let's talk about it. You know what's funny? This is the icing on the cake, and this is all you really need to know, okay? This is all you need to know. Because let me tell you why this is all you need to know, okay? Because you have me on the one hand, and wow, like that's such a fucking problem, right? Okay, well, so mine is problematic, I guess, and it starts a discourse and it's breaking news. And then let me show you, and this is just randomly I found this on Google. Okay, this one's good too. So okay, so let me show you. So okay, mine is breaking news, but this one is I guess this one is just normal. This is just how people dress. Extremely short shorts with a fucking I don't know what to call this hat. What is this hat? A woman's hat. And then you've got this beautiful outfit right here. We're doing a fashion comparison, and then we have this, and then wow, that's That one is like I guess that one's fine, but Hayes is, his blazer wasn't exactly fitted to his exact size. So this is breaking news. And okay, we have more too, right? So and then of course this one is inclusive, right? Look at this one. This one is like inclusivity, and we should promote this because it's it's progressive. And okay, so people who endorse this, I should listen to them about fashion. So I should listen to men's fashion about people who look like this and dress like this. Is that's what they're saying, and that they have no problem with this. What a crazy world we live in. The crazy world we live in. Indeed, it's a crazy world we live in. But I'm in a mood where I got my balls out pretty much, and they're hanging with victory, like in the shape of a W at this point. Well, I don't know how that would work, but you get the point, right? You get the point. This is big. This is I want to relish in it for a second. It's like this is how it feels to win, right? This is how, because I was thinking like there's gonna be a response. And I was thinking it's going to be a response that undermines the InfoWar message. And they're going to be like, there's going to be some lie that they make up. Like, I was at the MAGA rally, and let me tell you, Haas got fucking split in half with a chainsaw. And this one is just a clone. Or just someone would make up some ridiculous story to try and like dilute the absolute domination we have imposed on the discourse by sharing those pictures of me at the MAGA rally with impeccable drip and impeccable style, right? And then this is the best the demons have. The best the demons have is this. And to me, that feels like victory. That feels like victory to me. That feels like serious victory to me if this is all they have. And I'm pretty content. Pretty content to know that pretty much everyone is uglier than I am who says bad things about me. And also, they're all going to hell. And I'm really glad. Well, I'm not glad because that would also be satanic. But I can sleep easy knowing that they're literally all going to burn in hell. And am I going to go to hell? Maybe, but I'll probably get a reduced sentence, and they'll probably go easy on me in hell. Whereas they're going to get tortured for all eternity, and I'm going to be able to watch them in heaven and laugh. Eventually, right? Anyway, well, let's talk about Brazil. Now, everyone should clap for Samira for not answering her phone, because this is the one thing she loves to talk about and always send me messages about, and it's Brazil. Thank you, Jenna.
It would work like this. Ooh, that's how it would work. What do you think?
Thank you, Janar. But what a bizarre response. By the way, guys, we are doing our Patreon Q&A today for the first time in forever. Well, not in forever, but for the first time in a long time, we're going to be doing the Patreon Q&A. So we can have that to look forward to today. And we're also going to be covering, very briefly, we're going to cover a few things on our itinerary. We're going to talk about Brazil. That's what I'm going to do right now. Then we're going to talk about Putin's really based speech that I didn't cover it because I skipped a few days. And we're going to cover it because it's been a while. And then what we're going to do is we are going to do the Patreon Q&A. So that is the order of succession of things throughout the night that you can expect. Now, let me tell you about Brazil. Now, Samira, unfortunately, is sleeping. So she's not going to be able to come and talk about like the one thing she actually obsesses over, which is exposing the truth about the Latin American left. And it's a point in which I happen to somewhat agree with her on, which is that, at the very least, without thinking that Bolsonaro is necessarily based, Lula is definitely cringe. So let me explain it to you this way. I will not go so far as to say that that Bolsonaro is based, but I will affirm in the positive that Lula is most definitely cringe. Because Lula de Silva, whatever his name is, went to jail, and then the CIA bailed him out, and then in return for bailing him out of jail, they said, hey, listen to us and get on board with our agendas and shit. And then he said, okay, sure. So he's pretty much working for the CIA in Brazil, and Bolsonaro is not. Now, you can try to say that Bolsonaro might be working for some elements in the Department of Defense. I don't know. He's not working for the CIA, and he's not working for the State Department, and that much is facts. The State Department and the CIA want to overthrow Bolsonaro, and they want to install Lula. Now, Bolsonaro, he probably is friends with some DOD people, but the DOD is not in charge. The State Department and the CIA represent who's in charge. DOD, I mean, those are like weapons contractors. Those are the Eric Prince types. And they have a lot of kooky plans for what they want to do and the power that they want to have. But it's like a pipe dream. They don't actually have it. It's something they want to have rather than something they have now. The State Department and the CIA already have the power. And the other one is just a hypothetical. So who should you vote for in the Brazilian elections? I don't give a fuck about voting, and I've never voted in my life. And that's not what I'm here to discuss. I'm here to discuss the plain truth that Lula is not better than Bolsonaro, and that's a fact. The grander picture, the bigger picture of this whole thing, and Samira says this, and I don't know why I'm giving her credit, because she's sleeping, and it's so fucking cringe. But she is right when she says it's about China. It's about this global. Yes, we do live in a Manichean black and white world. Everyone who says we don't live in a black and white world, but we live in a flowering world of diversity and its complexity in the Amazon, and yeah, those are cocksuckers, and they're also pagans. So people who say, oh, it's not just America. Okay, you're a fucking pagan, and you don't understand what a central contradiction is. No, the world is black and white, and it is a Manichean world, and it's overdetermined by this conflict between American unipolarity and the forces of counter-hegemonic polarities who are being economically based in China, in China's transformation of the world's mode of production. So that's a black and white thing, America and China. It's not a political conflict necessarily or directly, but it is a conflict of polarities and economic, historical hegemonies. Historical hegemony being like the overtaking of one mode of production by another, right? So that's what China represents. It represents the end of a previous mode of production and the emergence of a new one. The destruction of one system and the emergence of a new type of world order. Thank you so much, Voidburn.
All these goofy frou-frou leftoids really think that their opinions are reality because of Twitter and Reddit updates. It's astounding. Feels good to see them smacked back down to real life.
Yeah, we literally, guys, we can literally just ignore them. And thank you so much, Voidburn. Appreciate you so much. But yeah, we can literally just ignore them. When I mean that is like, look what I did. Follow the example of Chairman Haas. Go to the fucking MAGA rally, or just get an interview and get your, and start practicing knowing how to talk to people. Don't do it to spread the message in real life, because, online is better, but do it to sharpen your blade, to get the necessary experience to be able to know how to talk and know how to write and know how to tweet and know how to, make the right kind of art and have the right kind of sensibilities and tastes. So go temper your blade. You don't have to pay attention to what leftists say. Thank you so much for the raid, Jackson. Wow, what a bump in viewership. I don't have to even care about my stream anymore, because we just have like 1 billion viewers now, and I don't really even have to put in effort. I'm just kidding, haha. No, thank you so much, Jackson. Appreciate the raid. Thank you so much. Anyway, what I was talking about is that so yes, this is a Manichean world, and it's black and white.
Good
It's
morning, Revolution.
polarities and counterpolarities. Johnny with the 50. Wow, thank you so much, man. Appreciate you. Wow, thank you, man. That's expanding the community. Look at this guy. And by the way, if you gift memberships, you are a lord, and everyone who received a membership from you is a thief. So put it this way: this is feudalism, and this is how it was on Twitch, and I'm reinstating it on YouTube. So I'm Haas, and I'm the king. Okay, and everyone who gifts subs is a lord and has their own fief, and the fiefdom consists in everyone who received a membership or a sub on Twitch, and you get to boss them around, and they're pretty much like serfs. They're pretty much like peasants, and so that's the feudal hierarchy. And by the way, this is what cults do. This is a cult, apparently, because it was shared on Twitter and actually went pretty viral when I said on Discord that oh yeah, if you get 500 followers on Twitter, you're a commando. If you get I just randomly listed them, and I was just on the toilet in my fucking own Discord in general. And apparently this was taken as this official thing, which is super serious. And I'm going to be honest, it is serious. It's very serious. There's a lot of livelihoods on the line. And I'm building a pyramidal shaped compound. Invest every dime you guys give me goes into the compound, and I'm at the top. And then it's hierarchically structured. Oh my god, thank you, Socialist. Thank you so much, man. It's hierarchically structured by Twitter followers, and the people with 50 followers or below are on the very bottom, and they have to eat slop, and they have to fucking live in filth and disease and depravity and shit. And it's actually really dangerous down there. And then I have my own throne at the very top. So it's a pyramidal shaped compound of the infrared cult that is being built. And please, for those of my haters that may have autism, which I completely respect it, but I just wanted to clarify, there's no S. This is not sarcastic. It's very serious. Please clip it and share it on Twitter with the intention of exposing a serious intention.
There are occasional territorial disputes with China, and the occasional siding with the U.S. Why is Vietnam considered revisionist?
Because of the Sino-Soviet split and its position there. Thank you, Abdullah.
I've got recommend the Stalin video and you are so based. And BTW as a fellow Middle Eastern with your exact situation, if you want to keep her hair, you gotta address the hair loss. I managed to halt mine.
Bro, chill, alright? I know I have hair loss. It's not a secret. I don't know why everyone's commenting on it. Does it look so bad? I don't think it looks that bad right now. I think it looks okay. Looks fine. But I'm getting a hair transplant eventually. I just have to schedule one. So I am, trust me, I'm aware. By the way, when I was at the barber, guys, the only thing that made me doubt having a hair transplant, so I was at the barber and he was doing my hair and he put it back and shit, and I actually saw what it looked like for me to be bald. And I kind of liked it. I kind of liked the bald look. But I don't know if I'm ready for it. Not in terms of am I ready for the change in terms of it's not as good? But it's so fucking badass how I look when I'm fucking bald. I feel like I should only go bald when a civil war starts or something, and I have a pelt, and then I'll fucking be like Tamerlane when I'm 30. But I'm only 26 and I'm green, and I'm really not that badass right now. So I don't want to see, when you go bald before you're a certain level of literal badass, I just feel like it's cringe. But I'm going to be honest, it does look pretty good. Being bald. For me, I look good bald. A lot of you look ugly as fuck. I'm telling you the truth. A lot of you really fucking look ugly. And there's a unique look to be. If you're fat, just wear a wig, okay? If you're fat and you're bald, it's GG. Unless you're burly and there's a lot of muscle there. But use common sense. If you're fat and bald, you look like the guy from Game of Thrones, like Viserys. So you should wear a hat or a wig. Anyway, so I'm going to continue speaking on the things that actually matter, such as the latest fashion in men's blazers. Just kidding. I'm going to talk. What was I talking about? I was talking about how the world is black and white. And I already talked about that. I literally lost my fucking track. I literally lost track. I literally lost track. I literally lost track of what the fuck I was talking about. Someone explain what I was just talking about. Someone explain what I was just talking about. Where I was extremely rudely interrupted. Okay, Brazil. I think, yeah, black and white Manichaeism. But I think I already mentioned that. It's about hegemony and counter hegemony based on a change in the forced economic mode of production. So it's black and white. There's no in between. So when people say, oh, it's okay that Lula allies with the CIA because they're rainforest and they oppress, shut the fuck up and fuck the stupid fucking rainforest and fuck every animal that lives there and fuck the dumb fucking purple dolphins that are gonna go extinct. And I don't give a shit about those fucking dolphins, and I'll beat the shit out of every one of those dolphins with my bare hands if I have to, because I don't give a shit about them. And fuck all the stupid trees and every stupid animal and the fucking put them in a zoo or some shit if you care that much about them. I don't give a fuck. Fucking rainforest. Anyway, here's the I'm just trying to give you the like black and white truth. Bolsonaro goes on Tucker Carlson and he talks smack about China and he says this and he spins that narrative. Fine, let him. But I'll just give you the meat and potatoes of what's actually going on in Brazil. What's actually going on is that Bolsonaro is deepening economic integration with China and deepening economic partnership with China and actually giving China more of a foothold in in Latin America. And also, if you didn't see recently on the UN resolution to condemn Russia's annexation of 1/5 of Ukrainian territory, Brazil abstained. Okay, so you can see why the US is choosing Lula. The reason they're choosing Lula, and I'm going to pull up Samira's tweet because she's getting her beauty sleep right now, is because Lula basically made the following leftist, wise, beautiful decision. He said, okay, so we're going to kiss your ass on foreign policy and trade, America. We're going to make sure that we pretty much, cut off BRICS integration, cut off deepening economic ties with China, kick China out of the Amazon, do all of that kind of shit, and we'll concede all of that to you, as long as you let us implement our fucking, lefty policies here, and our environmentalism is leftist too. You know what? I'm gonna call out a specific archetype of person, and I'm gonna call them the plague of the Western world. The plague of the Western world. And it applies also to Latin America. And the reason it applies to Latin America is because Latin America is kind of part of the Western world because of Spain and Portugal. And there's that legacy is still there because of the academic establishments and their middle class and upper middle class. So let me give you the middle class archetype. It's very common in Chile, very common in Argentina, very common in Spain, very common in Southern Europe, very common in France. And, that kind of Southern Europe and Latin America, this is a very common archetype of leftist. They have a scarf and they have a little cap, the fake Lenin cap that they try to cop, but it's a hipster version. And they have the scarf and they have the glasses and they have coffee and they cross their legs. And it's that archetype. And these guys are pretty much the leaders of leftism in Latin America and Europe and Southern Europe. And they dominate. They literally dominate this type of person. The plague of the Western world is what I call them. Or maybe I'll call it the plague of the Catholic world, because it's only Catholic countries that have this problem. And these are the plagues of the Catholic world, I'll say, right? And they're these the Boric leftists, whatever you want to call these people. I personally let me be they have their legs crossing the whole time, okay? The whole time they got their legs crossing like this. They got this, you know what? Let me see if I can make do. Be a long shot. But just do this. Okay, we'll do this. Basically, this looks like one of those. I'm gonna make it look like a scarf. How do we do this, huh? I look like a gym rat. I look badass like this. Like this. Basically, we need to be environmentally conscientious and save the indigenous people in the Amazon. I am in Spain. I took over Podemos. This is what I look like now. And I want us to be more green. And I want us to be more conscientious. And I want us to be more inclusive.
You should make a video
Oh, thank
about
you,
Andrew Tate
Abdullah.
defending British
Thank you,
colonialism
Abdullah.
of India cause they
Thank
made
you,
them
Abdullah.
civilized people.
Thank you so much,
That'll hit the
Abdullah.
algo.
By the way, did I mention I also live in Greece, even though it's not Catholic? So I live in Southern Europe and Latin America, which is why you can't tell what my accent is. It sounds Spanish and French and Portuguese and Italian, and it's a whole mix of all of those things because that's the type of person that I am. So I'm basically this archetype of person who cares a lot about the environment, and I really care about social issues and compassion and return to Mother Earth. We need to return to Mother Earth because we are destroying the Amazon rainforest. We are destroying the environment. And we must make sure that we are socially conscientious with the institutional backing to make sure the indigenous people and the queer people, why not the trans people and other people, we will make sure we have the necessary changes to bring about true social change in the region. I'm wearing glasses right now. Please imagine I'm wearing glasses and a cap right now. And we basically want true social change in the region. And that's what basically we're looking for. But we must be attuned to the fact that the science must agree. Guillermo del Toro is another person who I am. I'm Guillermo del Toro. This is also part of the archetype. And I want to make sure that all of the stereotypes that we're used to must be dispelled. Edward Said's Orientalism also applies to Italian people as well, and also applies to Spanish people. They say that there's a stereotype that we Spanish people, we have the red flag with the bull. Oh, that's a stereotype. Edward Said spoke about the Western gaze and the ways in which the patriarchal, phallogocentric order basically makes it necessary for us to ally with the CIA against China in the name of defending the environment and promoting LGBT, socially progressive, and economically progressive causes. Thank you so much,
Could you
Chris
tell us
Laura.
how we can use the cacao bean for our economy?
I'm not thanking you for any money because I'm actually a rude fuck. And I am rude, but that's because I'm compassionate for the indigenous people. And that's why I don't leave any tips to the waiter, because I care only for indigenous people and the environment, and we are destroying the environment. Now, I am Guillermo del Toro, and I want you to vote for Lula, because Bolsonaro is the enemy in Pan's Labyrinth. Pan's Labyrinth, where we're just gonna run around. That's what we're endorsing here. Okay, let me depart. All right, so as you can see, this is a very real type of person because I just had them guest onto the show. So it's a very real type of person, and this is what they are. And, and that's what we're dealing with in Brazil, okay? These are the type of people who are this is why people still feel the need to defend Lula and defend these pink-tied Latin American leftists when they're already consolidated by the CIA. There was some ambiguity before, of course there was. In the 90s and 2000s, and even in the 2010s, there was a lot of ambiguity. Remember when was it Ecuador with Julian Assange? Yeah, that was a threat to the status quo, and that was a threat to the to the US unipolar agenda. We're not living in the same world. We're living in a world where the leaders of the Latin American left and the global South Socialist International left, which is based in Spain and it's based in fucking Italy, We're living in a world where they have made a trade. They said, okay, we're going to cave into the Rockefellers, we're going to cave into the Ford Foundation, we're going to cave into the CIA, but and then in return, they're going to concede to us all of these progressive social policies and economic
Hello,
policies.
fellow Starbucks enjoyer. I too enjoy coffee given to me by a corporations than a mug at a locally owned diner because they voted Trump.
Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely. Fuck the yeah. But you know what? Fuck the local coffee shop too. I'm gonna be honest. Fuck them both. I think we should declare war against coffee shops in general. But anyway, so I'm not saying the alternative is better than Starbucks. It's not. But anyway, what I was trying to say is that uh we are also dealing with a situation where I'm stone locked. Okay, my point is that the Latin American left is social democratic. And when I say social democratic, I mean it's following that tradition of capitulate to imperialism and implement progressive economic welfare policies. So in Lenin's time, that was what the Social Democrats were. In the Cold War, that's what the Social Democrats were, which is why they were with NATO and they were with America. And now that's what social democracy represents in Latin America with regard to US unipolar imperialism. And this is a recurring trend of social democracy. Remember, the real conflict is not between capitalism and communism. That is stupid, right? Capitalism, I mean, that's just a historical transition. The real conflict, politically speaking, is between social democracy and communism. That's always been the real conflict. Even Hitler's fascism was a type of social democracy when you really think about it. That's always been the only conflict that matters. Social democracy versus communism. When Khrushchev became a... Let me explain this to you. So, Lenin, he breaks with the revisionists. Oh, that's the legacy of social democracy, the revisionists, right? Kautsky and the rest of them. Bernstein before Kautsky. That's what they are. Okay, so they built the Soviet Union. Khrushchev becomes a revisionist. What does it mean for Khrushchev to become a revisionist? It means he joins the Social Democratic Socialist International and the Fabian Socialists based in Britain, and he joins that whole revisionist vortex of cringe, right? Okay. So that's what we're dealing with here. That this is the living legacy of that here in Latin America. Sorry, in Latin America, we're dealing with the legacy of that. The social democratic revisionists who are allied with the globalist Rockefeller agenda and the foreign policy State Department agenda, as well as the CIA, quite literally. And they have this thing where they're like, okay, we're going to be progressive. By the way, the word progressive, I mean, what does that even mean? Nothing. It doesn't fucking mean a thing. Progressive just fucking means, you know, it just fucking means feeling good about yourself while you sip some fucking coffee wearing a scarf. That's all it means. Yo, what up, Jackson? Saying my stream setup looks good. It don't look good. This place looks good because the lighting is fucking impeccable. And when I move into my own place, I'm going to make sure I have these lights and I'm going to make sure my place looks just as good as this. Because isn't this a nice place? This is a beautiful place, isn't it? This is such a change of scenery. I'm used to being in a fucking dumpster. Well, the old place I was at a few weeks ago was nice with the elephant in the background. By the way, I think... Should I do this? Should I do this? I feel like you guys deserve it, right? I feel like you guys deserve it. I feel like you guys... You know what? Oh, guys, let me ask you a question. Are you allowed to show like knives on YouTube? Are you allowed to do that? Someone tell me real quick. Can I show knives on YouTube? Can I do that? I want to show you guys some cool stuff. Like in a sec, just for a sec. I just want to show you. Can I do that on YouTube? Guys, can I? Is it against the rules? Yes? Yes? Okay. All right, give me a sec. Give me a sec. All right. So basically, you guys want to know my hairbrush? What I brush my hair with is this right here. So this is something that is in this place that I have in my hand. And as you can see, I don't know why I'm showing it to you, but look at this. It's ridiculous, ain't it? Anyway, so, you want to talk about troll or orc. They always say orc this, orc that. I mean, this is a real orc, okay? Look at this. I'm literally like a fucking literal orc, okay? And yeah, so that's something that fits me quite well, right? That's something that fits me quite well. All right, I'm gonna put it away. I don't know why I showed it to you, but I'm gonna go put it away.
Where does Mexico stand with Obrador, or the cartel still run the place?
AMLO seems cool. I think AMLO's an exception to what I'm saying in terms of the orientation. It seems like the further south you go, the more cringe the left becomes nowadays. Besides South Africa. But yeah. Yeah, AMLO seems cool. AMLO still seems cool. But I know Samira disagrees with that, but I'm entitled to my own opinion, aren't I? Also, I'm gonna put this away and come back and talk about real shit. Give me a sec. All right. So let's talk about real shit, okay? So Brazil, and I like this to get my point across, and it's like a ruler that I can, this when the students don't pay attention in class. It's yeah. So Brazil. Lula sold out to the CIA, and Bolsonaro. I don't, I feel like this is what's going on. I'm gonna give you my rough picture of how I understand things. So Bolsonaro has some economic and political independence from the US unipolar world order, and he represents sovereignty in some kind of sense. Now, and that's an objective sovereignty that Bolsonaro represents, okay? But, which Lula, by the way, is going to completely get rid of. And by the way, the results are coming in live right now. And some people say Lula's going to win. Some other people say something else. I don't know what's going to happen. Kind of seems like Lula right now is winning. But sovereignty is always an objective thing. When Viktor Orban of Hungary defies both the European Union and America and the World Bank, I mean, that's an objective expression of sovereignty. Now, with that being said, are these people trustworthy? Like, for example, Bolsonaro probably has this vision of teaming up with the spooky elements in the Department of Defense to overthrow the current leadership of the US empire and make it better. Viktor Orban's emissaries in Hungary openly say that, yeah, we want a European Union, but we just want it to be different. We don't want it to be run the way it is now. But we want this kind of alliance. And yeah, we're not backing out of NATO anytime soon. And the whole kind of like pro-NATO, anti-EU thing is also something you see in Italy with Meloni, okay? But with that being said, in Brazil's case, whatever ideological narrative or vision for the future Bolsonaro has is not relevant, right? What's relevant is the way things actually exist. As they actually exist, Lula is the U.S. empire's candidate. He's much better for the CIA. He's much better for the global agenda than Bolsonaro is. Bolsonaro's really getting fucked up, huh? 43%. Did not know that. Oh, wait, Lula's 48 and Bolsonaro's 43. So, and this is the first round of the election, too. So there's going to be multiple rounds of this election, is what I'm imagining, right? There's going to be multiple rounds. Interesting. Interesting. So I want to show this to you because it's relevant and it's also interesting. Well, then you say and then all right, so this one is important. I want to show you a few things that Samira has retweeted. Okay, I mean, this is like fucking wow. Okay, I mean, I want to show you the shape of things to come. The retard left isn't going to show you any of this stuff because retard leftists are like, did you know the U.S. coup Chile in 1979? Did you know the history of that? Shut the fuck up, you fucking glasses wearing idiot bitch. Everyone knows that. That's, you know what, I'm this close to start calling those people Michael Parenti leftists. And not trying to dig on Michael Parenti, but I just hate this vapid, like, textbook familiarity with U.S. imperialism that's, like, marketed off as, like, some high form of scholarship and, like, extreme insight that no one else knows. When it's not close to being accurate to a description to what's going on now. Okay, this idea that the U.S. is against Latin American leftist forces or progressive forces is such a fucking... It's like, you are in power. The professor who taught you this shit is the one in power, you know? That's who's literally ruling us and who's in power right now, you know? Yeah, he's very introductory. That's what I would say. Beautiful. All right. People who think Lula 2012 is the same 2022 Lula live in the past. During his campaign, he didn't talk about industrialization, sovereignty, nor BRICS. The EU has made clear they want Lula to win. The CIA and Lloyd Austin share the same desire. All his donors are major banks. So when someone's donors are all the major banks, what do you guys think that means? What do you think it means when all of the donors are the banks? Do you guys know? You guys know that means something, right? You know, it's relevant. I don't know. I guess people don't put. I mean, I bet Lula the leftist, and then we hope Lula wins. Shut the fuck up, man. The pink tide poses no threat to U.S. interests. Huh. We are not judging countries based on where they fall on the political spectrum, but their commitment to democracy, the rule of law, and human rights. That's just because. Let me. You want to explain to the retardation of leftists? Thank you so much, Morlock. Appreciate you, man.
The CIA put Lula in jail. The CIA freed Lula. The deal was made.
That's literally exactly what happened. You know, like unironically. Unironically, that's what happened. So, guys, let me explain something, okay? So, this is how leftists literally think. All around the world, from lunar oil in Vietnam to the global south, everyone's joining hands and the crowds are marching. It's the Arab Spring, and everyone's on Twitter ratioing all the bad guys, and we're all coming together, and we're all progressive, and the whole world is progressive, and we're all joining hands, and we're all it's like the Michael Jackson song. We are the world. We are the. You know, okay, that's how they literally think. They think that there's this huge tide, and they measure that based on Twitter likes. This huge tide. You know, I'm going to explain to you I have to, like, literally explain it to you, right? I have to explain it to you. Find that guy. I hope he still has it as his pinned tweet. Yes, he does. Like, this is the vibe. This is the mentality they have. Literally this. Like, everyone, we're winning! The whole world. So they have this illusion that they're winning by virtue of, like, the masses. And this is somehow based in, like, some organic flow of history. And the masses are rising up. And it's a global progressive uprising. And their literal mentality when they see, like, Biden and the State Department and the CIA say the things that they do is that, oh, they're just trying to hijack it. Because that's the real thing, and they're just trying to, like, be opportunistic. But in reality, they're being left behind as we march forward without them. And that's literally how leftists understand the situation. When nothing could be further from the fucking truth. All of that progressive stuff that they talk about is a top-down operation, 100% tied to the money that's coming from the Ford Foundation and the NGOs and the philanthropic foundations and, you know, the CIA, the way it launders money through them, the think tanks, the academia. It's all tied to U.S. unipolar imperialism, very much inorganic, very much not grassroots, very much not coming from the soil of the people. It's very much a top-down globalist agenda that they have somehow delusionally convinced themselves reflects, like, the organic Age of Aquarius atmosphere of the fucking universe. So this is what we're dealing with in this situation. We're dealing with a level of delusion which can't see that the thing they think is, like, organic, and no, it's not. Which is so funny because this is a topsy-turvy world. Because these same people claim that I'm a fucking op, and they say that I'm FBI, and I'm the CIA, and I'm the WNBA or some shit. I don't fucking know. I'm the WNBA, I'm the CIA, I'm the FBI, I'm the fucking NSA, I'm the fucking ABC, FYG, whatever. Every alphabet except LGBT, of course. They say I'm everything, right? But no, actually, you want to see what an organic thing looks like? Look at fucking infrared. That's 100, unless all of you guys are CIA bots, and I'm literally just a crazy guy who's being used for the CIA. This is very real, right? But all the things that they think are organic, like when Petro's holding up his arms with the first black woman of Colombia ever, yeah, that is fucking CIA. That is not real. That is fake, okay? So it's literally the opposite of what they think. It's literally their intuition is the exact opposite of reality. It's the opposite of reality. The feds don't care about your pet political online project. I beg to fucking differ, dude. I'm pretty sure there's airtight proof that there's manipulation going on. I really find it hard to believe that 3,500 people care about the fitting of a blazer. I don't think that's real. Do you think that's real? I don't know. Do you? I don't. Make it up. Think about it. Is that real? Really think about it though. Like, is that real? Is that a real thing that people care about? Is that a real thing people I don't think so. I don't believe it. I don't think it's real. Interview Ryan Dawson. I don't know who that is. But no, actually, guys, the one thing that I wake up terrified of is that people stop talking about me. I'm not even kidding. Because like I thought to myself, like, oh my god, is there not going to be a viral post about my Trump interview stuff because I'm not on Twitter anymore, and I'm still going viral all the fucking time, so I'm good. The one thing that terrifies me is that people stop talking about me. That is fucking terrifying. Like if I just become irrelevant, if I go 1 month without some like thousands, I don't care. Look, if it's bad attention or if it's good attention, I need to keep staying relevant when I'm off Twitter. The hardest part of being banned on Twitter is you need to stay relevant at all costs. And you guys are doing a good job of making that happen. So keep it up until Elon Musk fucking takes over Twitter and gives me back my fucking account with my 20,000 followers. Why are you giving away your weakness? Because it's not a weakness, because even if they stop giving me attention, it'll just like either way I win. If they stop giving me attention, I keep working. You know, if they keep giving me attention, I get free attention. So it's like there's no way I lose when it comes to this. That's all you have to think of them as. That's all you fucking. That's so true, Oscar Wilde. The only thing worse than being talked about is not being talked about, which is such facts. That is such facts. I win either way. And I wish I was at the Trump rally with this level of alertness and awakeness. Because let me tell you, I was sleepy. I was 1 hour in sleep. If I was like this, it would have been a lot better. Yeah, this is the best lighting I've ever fucking had in my life, isn't it? This is the best lighting I've ever had in the history of streaming, ever. Why did Jackson back out of the Trump rally? Because Jackson lives on the other side of the fucking world. He lives in fucking California. And see, I have to go to California because I'm apparently a Michigander peasant. And well, that's the truth. LA is much more relevant than Michigan is. And, you know, Jackson, he didn't want to come back here and be with the simple common folk. You know what Jackson is? Jackson's the prince who escaped his humble origins from being a Michigander. He went to LA and now he's this fancy guy. He don't want to come back to the village. I guess you're gonna miss I guess you moved on from us. And you're doing bigger, better things now. I guess you completely moved on and you don't got any time for us Michiganders anymore now in your fancy West Coast LA living. I guess the stew that me mom made is just gonna stay in the oven because we made it just for you and we made you a cake too, and I guess we're gonna throw it away now because I guess we're on bigger and better things now. But Yeah. So no, in all seriousness, there were other plans that fell through that the cost benefit is just wasn't worth it for Jackson. But that's why. If everything would have gone according to plan, he would have come. But not everything did. Some of the plans fell through. Which sucks, but that's life. That's life. And everything happens for a reason. Why are you saying I have two phones? I mean, it's true, but why are you saying it? So yeah, that's what happened. Because you're not a country. Shut the fuck up, man. I'm gonna make a prediction. All right, Michigan, Detroit is gonna be better than LA. Well, it already is kind of, but it's gonna be like really cool in like 50 years. I mean, like 10 years or like 20 years. No, Detroit's coming around. Okay, that's what we say to cope, but it's not true. We do say that to cope, but I've never seen any evidence for it. I feel like the only way to come around is just to have oil. Like everyone's like, oh yeah, Texas, Austin, yeah, oil. That's the secret. If you have oil, you can be rich. If you don't have oil, you're fucked. That seems a pretty clear law. Think about it. Can you name a place in America that's wealthy and prosperous for an average person that doesn't have oil? Arizona? Maybe Arizona. I'll give you that. Maybe Nevada. But Arizona ain't that prosperous. I don't think. What the fuck? Fuck? Florida? Is Florida prosperous? I think a lot of Florida is kind of poor, isn't it? Is Florida really that prosperous? Is the stream down, by the way? Is the stream still good? Yeah, I'm gonna be honest, guys. I don't want to jinx it or set the expectation, but I feel like the feds will punish me for that video I'm about to drop. I feel like there's gonna be like every time I say this shit, it turns out to be true. I feel like there's gonna be a response. I don't know what it's gonna be. I hope it's just gonna be people on Twitter making fun of my blazer with bots. I hope that's the extent of the response. But yeah, this is like a really bad thing I did, and I feel like there's gonna be a response. I don't want to jinx it, but make sure you clip this. Make sure you clip this in case, because that's yeah. You ever been to the deep hoods of Detroit? Yeah, I've driven through them. If that's what you're asking. All right, we're gonna go straight. We're gonna go to the Patreon Q&A. Biggest pushback will come from Groypers and Bappists. Bappists, yes. I think Bappists, yeah.
Based.
Are you planning to hit more Trump
Thank you, Pam.
rallies? And besides that, what would be your plan to establish more lasting contact with the MAGA folks?
These things I do is mainly for morale, and it's mainly for you guys, just to prove that this is possible. But yeah, I probably will attend more rallies. But I'm not going to announce them beforehand, because if I do that, people will find ways to try and wreck them. Or I might announce some and not go to them, just to like waste my haters' time.
Based.
Thank you, Abila.
Can I please overhaul the emotes? We are missing so many great emotes such as Gigachad, Halal Chad, Trolled, Munkahika, Feels Strongman, and Sag.
Yeah, just add them in the Discord and I'll do it. I know I was supposed to add so many emotes to the YouTube. Yeah, I should add way more YouTube emotes. You're right. Alright, guys, I want to talk about Putin. Actually, no, I'm going to show you more of this. Okay, so check this out with Bolsonaro. We're still in Brazil, okay? Check this one out. Along with Nicolas Maduro and the governments of Cuba and Nicaragua, the administration of Bolsonaro opposes the proposal by Europeans and Americans to put the UN agenda a debate on accusations of human rights violations in China. So that's Brazil under Bolsonaro right now. And then this is my favorite one. Gustavo Petro asked this woman to establish a military force to protect the Amazon. So the U.S. is going to militarily protect the Amazon with Bolsonaro in charge, and that's okay because that's what leftists want too.
To be proud of. This region is so rich in resources. It's off the charts rich. And they have a lot to be proud of. And our competitors and adversaries also know how rich in the resources that this region is.
By the way, why the fuck is someone in a military outfit talking about this? Lithium is for technology, and it's for consumer technology, and it's for civilian, economic purposes. Why is this about war, right? Why are they making it about war? Doesn't it seem a little weird? Like, imagine if someone was in a military outfit. They're like, oh, and we're concerned that China's GDP is... Well, I understand it's all interconnected, but it's like, really? Is it about war? Does it have to be about war?
60% of the world's lithium is in the region. You have heavy crude. You have light sweet crude. You have rare earth.
Yeah, we have to fuck people's economic development because it's a matter of our national security. Since when did that become the norm?
Earth elements.
Like, openly, at least. I know it's always been the norm in reality, but like, openly, you're just going to admit that?
You have the Amazon, which is called the lungs of the world. You have the 31% of the world's fresh water here in this region. And there are adversaries that are taking advantage of this region every single day, right in our neighborhood. And I just look at what happens in this region in terms of security, impacts our security, our national security in the homeland and in the United States.
Yay, Lula, the pink tide is back. The pink tide is back. So let me explain something I didn't know I had to explain. Because I really didn't know I had to explain this. So I'm going to do that. The US is the Antifa of the world. Countries in the world today just want to get business done. They just want to do trade, and they just want to have industry. And they just want economic development. They just want to produce things, and they just want to build infrastructure, and they just want to build real things. And the US is the pink-haired, blue-haired fucking, Antifa punk rock jacket with spikes, fucking wrecker coming here with a spiky barbed wire baseball. No! Destroy! Destroy! No! 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 China's in Brazil. Hey, Brazil. Hey, China. Shaking hands. And you do the meme where, like, the people are shaking hands and the guy is making fucking screeching sounds in the corner. No, you can't do it. It's not like the U.S. Offers an alternative. They don't, and they can't. The U.S. doesn't even fucking offer an alternative to China. People are so fucking stupid, they don't even know what imperialism means today. They think the U.S. is like, oh, the U.S. just wants to pave everything over and build McDonald's. They don't even want to fucking do that. They literally want things to stop growing because that's the only way they secure their monopoly and their fucking power. Economic development, threat literally of any kind, is a threat to them. So China's here trying to do business with Brazil and get things done that benefit both people, and the US is the terrorist that comes and wants to fucking smash and destroy and fuck everything up so everyone can be just as miserable as the crackhead bums in LA. That's America's vision of the world. Think of the most deranged, think of that crackhead in LA, that homeless crackhead in LA who had a bucket of shit and just throws it on people, and who threw it on that woman. Remember that story on Twitch that shocked me that I told you about? That's what America is to the world. The archetype of America is a homeless crackhead in LA who just wants to throw buckets of shit on people and wants to make everyone as miserable as they are, and they want to tear people down. That's all they fucking want to do. That's what the US's role in the world is today. Tearing people down. It's a loser empire. Remember that. We have a loser empire. We have an empire of fucking losers who hate prosperity. They hate people building themselves up. They hate people making themselves more wealthy. They just want to tear down, destroy to protect the environment. That's the fucking empire we live in. It's an empire of fucking losers. That's the fucking truth. That's just the truth. Did I get my hair shorter? What do you guys think? Should I cut it shorter? I already got it cut a few times, actually. But I want to know if I should cut it even shorter. Yes? Because I'm not going to be able to get a haircut for the next 2 weeks. Nah? Okay, I'll keep it. So that's the situation. All right. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to watch parts of Putin's speech. And then after that, what we're going to do is we're going to do the Patreon Q&A. And then we're going to have to wrap up. And I'm going to go grab some water, and I'll be right back. Okay? I will be right back. I'm going to grab water. Give me a second.
Good morning, Revolution.
Alright. Alright, I'm back. I won't calm down, I'm back. And I didn't get water, I lied. I got this. What is this? It's a new thing. You know, I know you probably never heard of it. Now I know what it is. Ask me, what is it? I know what this is. I know exactly what this is. That's why I'm drinking it. Because I would never drink something I didn't know what it was. What is erythritol? What is erythritol? What is that shit? Should I be worried about that? All right, let's watch Putin's speech. And I want to get the good parts. I don't want to get the bullshit.
Народной Республики, Запорожской области и Херсонской области. Уверен, что...
Oh yeah, don't translate it. Thank you. I didn't need it. Yeah, no one needs it translated. We just watch it like it is. Thank you, the Telegraph. That's so useful, man.
Still hopes to have its way. Indeed, in the
Is
past.
there a speech with fucking subtitles? Or does that not exist? No, that doesn't exist, right? That's not possible to do in this modern age. In the modern age, that can't happen. We can't have fucking subtitles, right? Fuck.
Большинство людей на референдуме 1991 года развалили нашу великую страну. Поставили народа просто перед фактом. Допускаю, что они даже до конца не понимали, чего делают, и к каким последствиям это неизбежно в конце концов приведет. Но это уже не важно. Советского Союза нет. Прошлого не вернуть. Да и России сегодня это уже и не нужно. Мы к этому не стремимся. Но нет ничего сильнее решимости миллионов людей, которые по своей культуре, вере, традициям, языку считают себя частью России, чьи предки на протяжении веков жили в едином государстве. Нет ничего сильнее решимости этих людей вернуться в свою подлинную, которые пришли выразить свою волю. Всегда. Выбор народа относиться к этому свободному противоракетной обороне. Запад растоптал принцип нерушимости границ. А сейчас...
This is Stalin said this too after World War II.
По своему собственному усмотрению решает, кто имеет. Даже заик должен пополнить.
Oh, this is beautiful. Okay. Okay.
Вот почему у них вызывает дикую злобу выбор людей в Крыму, в Севастополе, в Донецке, Луганске, Запорожье и Херсоне. Никакого морального права давать ему оценки, даже заикаться о свободе и демократии у этого Запада нет. Нет и не было никогда. Западные элиты отрицают не только национальный суверенитет и международное право. Их гегемония имеет ярко выраженный характер тоталитаризма, деспотизма и апартеида. Они нагло делят мир на своих вассалов, на так называемые цивилизованные страны, и на всех остальных, кто по замыслу сегодняшних западных расистов должен пополнить список варваров и дикарей. Лживые ярлыки «страна-изгой», «авторитарный режим» уже готовы. Они клеймят целые народы и государства. Они дискриминируют, разделяют народы на первый и иной сорта. Мы никогда целые народы и государства.
There we go. I talked about this in the MAGA Communism Substack. Rogue country means malign sovereign.
Они дискриминируют, разделяют народы на
Or
первый
what they were in order to remain. Colonialist.
и иной сорта. Мы никогда не принимали и не примем такой политический национализм и расизм. А чем, как не расизмом, является русофобия, распространяемая сейчас по всему миру? Чем, как не расизмом, является безапелляционная убежденность Запада в том, что его цивилизация, неолиберальная культура – это непререкаемый образец для всего мира?
Facts. Hey, isn't that BAP guy fucking seething? Doesn't that BAP guy love Putin so much? Yo, BAP, show this to fucking BAP. Yeah, bro, Putin is with us. By the way, and this is unrelated, but LGBT propaganda is not allowed in Russia. They banned it. They banned LGBT propaganda in Russia. Totally unrelated, but so you know.
Кто не с нами, тот против нас. Странно даже все это звучит. Даже покаяние в своих собственных исторических преступлениях западные элиты перекладывают на всех остальных, требуя и от граждан своих стран, и от других народов повиниться за то, к чему они вообще не имеют никакого отношения, например, за период колониального захвата. Стоит напомнить Западу, что он начал свою колониальную политику еще в период Средневековья, а затем последовала мировая работорговля.
It's like he's giving the Mongol speech that I gave. You know?
Геноцид индейских племен в Америке, разграбление Индии, Африки, войны Англии и Франции против Китая, в результате которых он был вынужден открыть свои порты для торговли опиумом. То, что они делали, подсаживали целые народы на наркотики, целенаправленно истребляли целые этносы ради земли и ресурсов, устраивали настоящую охоту на людей, как на зверей. Это противно самой природе человека, правде, свободе и справедливости. А мы гордимся тем, что в 20 веке именно наша...
Look at this beautiful... This is probably my favorite part of the speech. I love this part of the speech so much. Look what he says. He says, "We are proud that it was our country that led the which they did since 1917. It was the leader of anti-colonial movements around the world." And he said he's proud of that. And I think that's a beautiful thing.
Страна возглавила антиколониальное движение, которое открыло многим народам мира возможности для развития. Для того, чтобы сокращать бедность...
This is beautiful. This is the sacral nature of Russia's mission for the world. This is what makes Russia a sacred country. It's a true... Russia is universalist for all humanity in a different way than the Anglo-Saxon universalism. It's a type of... It's the same... It's Christian like the West, so it believes in Christian universalism, but not in the forceful way of making everyone similar to you and excluding differences, but allowing difference within the universal. Like a universal that is developed through difference rather than at its expense. It's a universalism that incorporates all the differences of humanity. And that's what you're seeing here. This is probably one of my favorite parts of the whole speech, if I'm going to be honest.
Неравенство, побеждать голод и болезнь, Подчеркну, что одна из причин многовековой русофобии, нескрываемой злобы этих западных элит в
We did
отношении
not allow ourselves to be robbed during the period of colonial seizures
России
and
как раз
forced Europeans to trade for mutual benefit. And that is why they had it out for Russia from the very fucking beginning, if you didn't know. That's why they had it out for Russia, even before the Soviet Union. In the 19th century, in the 18th century, they've always had it out for Russia. And this is why.
и состоит в том, что мы не дали себя обобрать в период колониальных захватов, заставили европейцев вести торговлю к взаимной выгоде. Этого удалось достичь, создав в России сильное централизованное государство, которое
So
развивалось.
exactly around the same time that it was taking off with the Dutch and all them, you know, that was, you saw Muscovy, right? And you saw this emergence of a different path to universalization and maybe a different path to modernity in general.
Укреплялась на великих нравственных ценностях православия, ислама, иудаизма и буддизма, на открытых для всех русской культуре и русском слове. Известно, что неоднократно строились планы интервенции в России. Пытались использовать и смутное время начала XVII века, и период потрясений после
See this?
1917
This is
года.
beautiful. You know, Putin is a Stalinist, I think. If not openly, then secretly he is, because this is the Stalinist view. There's a time of troubles based, 1917 based. The Romanovs cringe. Why? Because the Romanovs were westernizers who betrayed Russia to the West. And they were not even Russians, really, right? They were kind of like Germans. So this is an orthodox Stalinist view that Putin has here, and it's a great view. Beautiful view. Thank you so much, Chris.
Putin is doing decolonialization in Russia and land back in Ukraine, unironically.
Thank you so much, man. Appreciate you.
Не удалось. До богатств России Запад сумел дорваться, все-таки сумел дорваться в конце 20 века, когда государство было разрушено. Тогда нас называли и друзьями, и партнерами, а на самом деле относились как к колонии. Из страны выкачали $триллионы по самым разным схемам. Мы это все помним, ничего не забыли. И в эти дни люди в Донецке и Луганске, в Херсоне и Запорожье высказались за то, чтобы восстановить наше...
Russia's such a beautiful state, you know? It's such a beautiful state. You know, there's a difference between indeterminate diversity, which is just a mishmash of different people who are not, you know, it's just like indiscriminate diversity, right? Then there's a kind of determinate diversity where there's an elegance to this union of differences. Like you see differences in the crowd. There's Russian-looking people, there's other ethnicities, there's Muslims, there's Jews somewhere, Christians, you know. And it's like, it makes sense, right? There's like this, they're all themed in the same way. You know, it's like, it's a diversity that's somehow unified by something. instead of just being chaotic, right? And that's what's beautiful about it. Yeah, it's an organic kind of integration. It's not assimilation, and it's not extermination, and it's not blind diversity. It's some kind of organic integration.
Историческое единство. Спасибо. Западные страны веками твердят о том, что они несут другим народам свободу и демократию. Все с точностью да наоборот. Вместо демократии – подавление и эксплуатация. Вместо свободы – порабощение и насилие. Весь однополярный миропорядок по своей сущности.
This is like one of the most based people. Like how based that guy is, bro. This is one of my favorite people. Shoigu. The warrior Shoigu. The Khan Shoigu. This is Khan Shoigu. This dude is literally about it, bruh. This is literally a real living descendant of fucking Genghis Khan. Right? He's the reincarnation of Subutai. This is literally Subutai, bro. This is what he was. And he's still chilling. He's still chilling. He didn't go nowhere. He's literally still chilling in Russia. Because this is his state. This is his empire. And he's still around. They didn't go nowhere. Alright? He's still here. So the Mongols, the Khans, they didn't go anywhere. Still here. And they're wearing a suit and tie now, but they're still here. And they're chilling. They're chilling in Russia. They're chilling in China. You know, they're chilling. They're chilling in Iran. They're chilling. They're just chilling, right? They're still here. They didn't go. You say, oh yeah, you say, who? History? And then he looks at you angry. I didn't go nowhere, bitch. That's what a real one looks like.
Антидемократичен и не свободен. Он лжив и лицемерен насквозь. США — единственная страна в мире, дважды применившая ядерное оружие, уничтожив японские города Хиросиму и Нагасаки. Кстати говоря, создали прецедент. Напомню о том, что США вместе с англичанами превратили в руины без всякой военной необходимости во время Второй мировой войны Дрезден, Гамбург, Кёльн и многие другие немецкие города. И это было сделано демонстративно, без всякой, повторю, военной необходимости. Цель была только одна, так же, как и в случае с ядерными бомбардировками в Японии. Запугать и нашу страну, и весь мир. США оставили страшный след в памяти народов Кореи и Вьетнама. Варварскими ковровыми бомбардировками, применением напалма и химического оружия. До сих пор фактически...
It's so crazy how the world is still scared of this ghost of Genghis Khan. You know why people are scared of Putin? Because he's a Mongol, bro. They see him and they're like, it's like Genghis Khan lives. He's still here. And they're scared. You know, you know the problem? The West, they're not confident. They're like, you know what? We're pretty much pussies. And we deserve to be conquered by these natural conquerors. You know what I mean? And they're like, no, we have to stop it because, but like they actually don't even believe. Like, for example, North Korea isn't scared Russia's gonna take it over because North Koreans are also badasses and badasses can respect each other. But if you're a pussy, you're a little bitch, this intimidates you, right? You're scared. You feel like you're gonna be conquered by it because you don't have any badassery of your own. Why should anyone fucking respect you? They're like, I feel like maybe Europe was supposed to be conquered by the Mongols. You know what I mean? Who knows? Because everyone else who was conquered by the Mongols, they're not scared of each other. They respect each other. I'm saying they respect the power that everyone has. They're like, okay. You know what I mean?
оккупируют Германию, Японию, Республику Корея, да и другие страны. И при этом цинично называют их равноправными союзниками. Послушайте, интересно, что это за союзничество такое? Ну, весь мир же знает, что за руководителями этих стран следят. Первым лицам этих государств устанавливают подслушивающие устройства не только в служебных, но и в жилых помещениях. Это настоящий позор. Позор и для тех, кто это делает, и для тех, кто, как рабы, молча и безропотно глотает это хамство. Приказы и грубые оскорбительные окрики в адрес своих вассалов они называют евроатлантической солидарностью. Разработку биологического оружия, опыты над живыми людьми, в том числе на Украине, благородными медицинскими исследованиями. Именно своей разрушительной политикой, войнами, грабежом они спровоцировали сегодняшний колоссальный всплеск миграционных потоков. Миллионы людей терпят лишения, издевательства, гибнут тысячами, пытаясь добраться до той же Европы. Вот вывозят сейчас хлеб из Украины. Куда он идет? Под предлогом обеспечить продовольственную безопасность беднейших стран мира. Куда идет? Да все идет в те же европейские страны. Там 5% только ушло в беднейшие страны мира. Опять очередное надувательство и прямой обман. Американская элита, по сути, использует трагедию этих людей для ослабления своих конкурентов, для разрушения национальных государств.
Facts. Trying to destroy Europe.
Это касается Европы, это касается идентичности Франции, Италии, Испании, других стран с многовековой историей. Вашингтон требует все новых санкций против России, требует все новых санкций против России. И большинство европейских политиков с этим покорно соглашаются. Они же ясно понимают, что США, продавливая полный отказ ЕС от российских энергоносителей и других ресурсов, ведут дело практически к деиндустриализации.
Deindustrialization of Europe. They understand it. The elites understand it, but they prefer to serve other people's interests. Actually, the European elites benefit from it too. It's the little guy in Europe who doesn't benefit from it. It's the European up-and-coming, small business owners and those type of entrepreneurs, people who are involved in industry. They're the ones who lose out on this. Not the fucking ones in power right now. They, again, financial rentier parasites always benefit from degrowth. Remember that. I'm going to explain to you something. How do you explain? No, riddle me this, guys. How do you explain why Germany and France are not only going along with the self-destruction of their own country, but are willing servants and willing obedient slaves of the Americans? How do you explain that? I'll tell you how to explain it. Because their elites have the same agenda. They just want to do it in different ways. They want to deindustrialize. That's their goal. The German capitalists who are against this are not the ruling class.
When Putin spoke about the civilians killed in the Donetsk by Kiev and Kadyrov looked up at the ceiling and shed tears, I really felt that.
I didn't see that part yet, but I heard about it. So guys, that's how you explain it. The rivalry between the German ruling class and the German banks and America and the city of London is not a rivalry between different industrial elites. It's a rivalry between different degrowthers, people who profit from debt and deindustrialization. Now, their conflict of interest stems from the way they want to dismantle and deindustrialize. But even with that they're still going to get on. It's like you have to think of everything backwards. Like, imagine if it was in America and Britain's interests to do something favorable to German industry, and it was a win-win trade deal like China, and then rising tide lifts all. That would explain why an industrial ruling class would ally with a different ruling class, right? Well, think of that in opposite terms. When Britain and America do something to deindustrialize Germany, that benefits the German ruling class, the financial elites there. So it's like there's this overlap of interests that you see. The people whose it's not in the interests of is all of the people outside of the financial elite, whose interests are contrary and opposed to them.
Европы, к тому, чтобы полностью прибрать к рукам европейский рынок. Все они понимают, эти элиты европейские. Все понимают, но предпочитают обслуживать чужие интересы. Это уже не лакейство, а прямое предательство своих народов. Но это...
They're no longer a lackey, but a direct betrayal of their peoples, which is a fact.
Бог с ними, это их дело. Но англосаксам уже мало санкций. Они перешли к диверсии.
They're no longer satisfied with sanctions. They move to diversions, organizing explosions of Nord Stream.
Организовав взрывы на международных газовых магистралях на кулачном праве.
The U.S. dictatorship is based on brute force, on fist law. It's beautifully wrapped. Yeah, but look at this. Deployment and maintenance of military bases in all corners of the world, expansion of NATO, putting together new alliances like AUKUS.
Бывает красиво обернуто, бывает без всякой обертки. Но суть одна и та же. Кулачное право.
You guys gotta really think about the AUKUS factor. Because it's a real fucking thing.
Отсюда развертывание и содержание сотен военных баз во всех уголках мира, расширение НАТО, попытки сколотить все новые военные альянсы, такие как AUKUS и им подобные.
Put it this way. A lot of the dissident right is just the AUKUS right. They're rebelling against the EU, but it's because they want the new AUKUS. That's what their alignment is with AUKUS. Thank you, Chris Morlock. Appreciate you.
If you took the transcript of this speech and didn't tell Marxists it came from Putin, they would applaud it. The fact that it comes from a place of actual power is why they can't accept it.
Yep. Of course, right? If Putin was weak, they would love him. If Putin was an indigenous guy in Brazil, they would love it. But because he's a powerful leader, they shit their pants and they hate it.
Идет активная работа и над созданием военно-политической связки Вашингтон-Сеул-Токио. Все эти государства, которые обладают или стремятся обладать подлинным стратегическим суверенитетом и способны бросить вызов западной гегемонии, автоматически зачисляются в разряд врагов. Именно на этих принципах строятся военные доктрины США и НАТО, требующие ни много ни мало тотального доминирования. Свои неоколониальные планы западные элиты преподносят также лицемерно, даже с претензией на миролюбие. Говорят о неком сдерживании. И подобное лукавство, подобное даже практика и будет расширяться. Крик против России. Они полагали, что смогут в очередной раз. Перспектива возбуждает далеко не всех. Разве что законченных политических мазохистов и поклонников других шантажом, подкупом, запугиванием. Словно запредельно агрессивных социальных сетей. Но людей нельзя наказать. Чем невероятнее ложь, тем быстрее в него напорполуют. Но не менее важно этими... Поэтому политикам и в той же Европе приходится убеждать своих сограждан. Меньше есть, реже мыться, а дома потеплее одеваться. А тех, кто начинает...
Politicians in the same Europe have to convince their fellow citizens to eat less, wash less often, and dress warmly at home. And those that start asking fair questions, why, are declared enemies, extremists, and radicals. Wow, what is Putin talking about? Right? It's pretty clear to me what he's talking about.
Задавать справедливые вопросы, а, собственно говоря, почему? Почему так? Немедленно объявляют врагами, экстремистами и радикалами. Переводят их вине в результате их многолетней политики еще задолго до намерен решать проблемы несправедливости рецепта. И здесь стоит напомнить, что из противоречия
The West emerged from the contradictions at the beginning of the 20th century through the First World War. Profits from the Second World War allowed the United States to overcome the consequences of the Great Depression.
начала 20 века Запад вышел через Первую мировую войну. Барыши от Второй мировой войны позволили Соединенным Штатам окончательно преодолеть последствия Великой депрессии и стать крупнейшей экономикой мира. Навязать планете власть доллара как глобальный...
The crisis of the 80s, the West largely overcame by appropriating the heritage and resources of the Soviet Union that was collapsing, eventually collapsed.
резервной валюты. Назревший кризис 80-х годов, 80-е годы прошлого века, кризис, тоже обострился.
Because remember, I think this is not really studied that often, but it does make sense. Trillions of dollars were exported out of the Soviet Union and out of Russia after that collapse. I've never really seen anyone talk about this kind of like vacuum cleaner model of economic development after the 80s, but it does make sense. Like, was the prosperity after the 80s and 90s just stolen from the former Soviet and socialist bloc? It's worth thinking about, right?
Во многом преодолел его за счет присвоения
When I
наследия.
say prosperity, I mean like the credit bubbles in Europe and America. Was that just all just like pretty much stolen from the Soviet Union and Russia? Right? But I've never seen anyone really think about that. But I mean, if trillions of dollars, I mean, trillions, that's a lot, right? That's like global economy money. So, yeah, that's, wow.
И ресурсов, разваливавшихся и развалившихся.
That's what Edberg said. I don't know why I've never seen that take before. I don't know. I must be fucking illiterate. I've never seen that take.
Концов Советского Союза. Это факт. Сейчас, чтобы выпутаться из очередного клубка противоречий, им нужно во что бы то ни стало сломать Россию. Другие государства, которые выбирают суверенный путь развития, чтобы еще больше грабить чужие богатства и за этот счет затыкать свои дыры. Если этого не случится, не исключаю, что они попытаются и вовсе довести систему до коллапса, на которой все можно будет свалить. Или, не дай бог, решат воспользоваться известной формулой.
Yep.
Война все спишет.
War will write everything off. This is probably the scariest quote of the entire speech because it's so fucking true. That is literally the mentality of the current Western administrations. Don't worry about anything. War is going to write it all off. That's so fucking true. It's such a weird superstition, like, but it works, right? War will write it all off.
Россия понимает.
Why does no one have a war theory of value, right? What is the relationship between recycling, wiping debts and war and things? I wonder if Michael Hudson talks about that. You know what's funny? Marxism doesn't have a good theory of war right now. It can, but it's never been developed. A serious theory of war. Now, Karl Marx, in his 4th volume of Capital, I believe, that he was planning, wanted to have a comprehensive understanding of the relation, like developing political economy from the perspective of empire. So colonialism, war, I don't know about geopolitics, but trade, foreign trade was probably the most important aspect. He never got to it. But those were planned by Marx. And he never came to it, right? So, yeah, he never came to that point. He could have, but he didn't. Well, he couldn't have because he died. But if he didn't die, he would have, right?
Свою ответственность перед мировым сообществом и сделать все, чтобы привести в чувство такие.
How can Russia win a war against NATO? I think war is a two-pronged aspect. So one of them is based on nuclear war. And if Russia fights NATO alone without China and without Iran, and if the nuke thing doesn't happen, I guess I can't imagine how it wouldn't. You're talking about guerrilla war. Russia would have to be like wage of, like it always has, right? Partisan warfare. And it might have to suffer NATO occupation for a period of time. But I'm sure the Russian people will fight for as long as they have to.
Очевидно, что нынешняя неоколониальная модель в конечном счете обречена. Но повторю, что ее реальные хозяева будут до конца цепляться за нее. Им просто нечего предложить миру, кроме сохранения все той же системы грабежа и рэкета. По сути, они плюют на естественное право миллиардов людей, большей части человечества, на свободу и справедливость. На то, чтобы самим, самостоятельно определять...
This denial of moral norms, religion, and family. So true. So true. See, Russia doesn't want war because they know the fucking price. Thank you so much,
They don't
PJ.
need to win militarily. They are winning the economic war.
Yeah, but what the elites are planning is a real war, you know, a military war. So that's the fucking problem, right? That's the problem.
Сейчас они и вовсе перешли к радикальному отрицанию нравственных норм, религии, семьи. Давайте ответим сами себе на очень простые вопросы. Я сейчас хочу вернуться к тому, что сказал. Хочу обратиться и ко всем гражданам страны, не только к тем коллегам, которые в зале находятся. Ко всем гражданам России. Разве мы хотим, чтобы у нас здесь, в нашей стране, в России, вместо мамы и папы был родитель номер 1, номер 2, номер 3? Совсем спятили уже. Разве мы хотим, чтобы в наших школах с начальных классов детям навязывали извращения, которые ведут к деградации и вымиранию?
There are other genders.
Вдалбливали, что кроме
Look
женщин...
at this. Look how this has global geopolitical significance. And when we talk about it, oh, it's culture war. Fucking Putin talks about it in the context of global geopolitics. Woke shit does fucking matter. If you don't think it fucking matters, look at President Putin talking about it. He thinks it's relevant. So yeah, the anti-woke thing is, if you are not anti-woke, you're not anti-imperialist. Fact. And you can't fucking cope your way out of this. And also, let me throw something fun into the mix. Look what Cuba just adopted in its stupid family code. Talk about ungrateful to Russia or the Soviet Union, which Russia's the successor state to. They're kissing the ass of American globalism after the end of the Soviet Union. And they're fucking selling out their country. Doing things that are contrary to the basic values that the Cuban state was founded on.
И мужчины, якобы существуют еще некие гендеры. И предлагали сделать операцию по смене пола. Разве мы все этого хотим для своей страны и для своих детей? Для нас все это неприемлемо. У нас другое, свое будущее. Повторю, диктатура западных элит направлена против всех обществ.
Challenge to everyone.
В том числе и народов самих западных стран. Это вызов всем. Такое полное отрицание человека, неспровержение веры и...
Complete denial of man, the overthrow of faith and traditional values. Suppression of freedom acquires features of religion on the contrary. Outright Satanism. Christ, denouncing false prophets, says, "By their fruits you will know them." Wow. That is so fucking powerful. Thank you so much,
Think
RJ.
it through. The West will not be able to sustain recruitment or pull off a draft this time. The fighters see them and hate them.
This is so powerful. By their fruits you will know them. That is a very powerful statement. That is a very, very powerful statement. The way I interpret it is it's like all the shit that makes you queasy in your stomach. Yeah, that's the fruits. You know it. You know it in your fucking gut that it's evil. Fucking evil shit.
Традиционных ценностей. Подавление свободы приобретает черты религии наоборот. Откровенного сатанизма. В Нагорной проповеди Иисус Христос, обличая лжепророков, говорит: «По плодам их узнаете их». И эти ядовитые плоды
And these poisonous fruits are already obvious to people in all countries, including the West.
уже очевидны людям. Не только в нашей стране, во всех странах, в том числе для многих людей и в самом Западе. Мир вступил в период революционных трансформаций. Они носят фундаментальный характер. Формируются новые центры развития. Они представляют
The international community and are ready not only to declare their interests, but also to protect them.
большинство мирового сообщества. И готовы не только заявлять о своих интересах, но и защищать их. И в многополярности видят возможность укрепить свой суверенитет. А значит, обрести истинную свободу, историческую перспективу. Свое право на самостоятельное, творческое, самобытное развитие, на гармоничный процесс. Во всем мире, в том числе и в Европе и Соединенных Штатах, как я уже сказал, у нас много единомышленников.
We feel, we see their support. I feel like Putin is talking about me. And I think he's talking about infrared. I think he's talking about infrared. What do you guys think? I think I think Putin knows about infrared. Because he's saying things that I've said for a long time. And I choose to believe he's talking about me. I choose to believe it. I'm watching TikToks of me. I wish we could watch it together, but we can't. Consensus, there would have never been any actual real progress in science. Don't act like the consensus model of scientific truth is God's spoken word, because you clearly know nothing about the philosophy of science. It's a very controversial viewpoint. It by no means is some kind of religious truth. The notion that individuals can't criticize institutional narratives is actually extremely dangerous. It promotes institutional stagnation and allows those who have zero in the name. This is so fucking cool. Yo, this account, Mecha Comms. What a cool account. Alright, sorry, let's continue. We're gonna do the Patreon Q&A.
И мы чувствуем, мы видим.
I think Putin was talking about me. I think he was, because he said we feel and see their support. I'm pretty sure it's talking about me, but to Putin, if you're watching this, I did get banned from Twitch, and in return, I just want like, what do I want? What do I want in return for my service to the Russian Federation? Can I have a studio? I just have a studio that's on the water. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. Just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. What I would like is I would like a tour of. I'm just kidding. I don't want anything. I'll do it for free. I believe in it. I do it for free. Come on. Thank you, Harold.
Zerka has actually been in Putin's DMs for more than a year now.
Их поддержку.
Okay. All right, we're gonna go to the Patreon Q&A segment of the stream. And here we go. Landon, thank you so much for being a patron. Your thoughts on the Hungarian Soviet Republic? Do you think that Hungary could have had its own civilizational space state similar to the Soviet Union, or was Balkan nationalism always doomed to prevail? To the extent of my knowledge, the Hungarian Soviet Republic was a failure. And it was a primarily urban phenomena, which is why it failed. And it didn't get a foothold among the peasants. That's what I've been told. Am I wrong? I don't know. That's what I've read. It's not about nationalism or whether Hungary can have its own civilizational space. I think it's possible. Maybe. Maybe. I kind of feel like all of Europe should just be led by Russia, if I'm being honest. And what do I mean led? Do I think Russia should arbitrarily be able to abuse people? They've never done that. When during the Hungarian uprising of 56 and then the Czech uprising of 68, it was the governments that begged Russia to come in. Russia came very reluctantly. So, as far as I can see, I don't see why Russia shouldn't just be the leader of Europe. Why shouldn't it? Don't know. Still haven't been given a good reason. What makes Europe so unique that it should be outside? Now, maybe Franco-Germania, but where's the line? What is the line between... Let me ask you guys a really crazy question. What is the line between Europe and Russia? You can answer that question. You've solved World War III. Recitator, thank you so much for being a patron. How do we best communicate MAGA communism to closed-minded people who simply see the label MAGA and immediately irk without any independent reflection? So everyone go to their house and they have a toilet, right? And they have a toilet tank and shit in the tank, and they'll smell bad for months, and they'll never know when the source is coming from. Because they could never fathom someone shitting in the tank. So do that to people who are upset about the MAGA part. And the reason I'm saying that is because we don't need people who are allergic to MAGA. I thought you were honestly going to ask, what about people who are allergic to communism? Now, that's a good question, because we need people who are MAGA people who are skeptical of communism, but we don't need leftists who are skeptical of MAGA at all. We don't need them, right? So, Hassan, thank you so much for being a patron. What are you going to name your kids? My wife asks. If I had a daughter, Sophia would be the name. If I had a son, maybe Joseph or Yusuf after Joseph Stalin. I don't know. I have to think, right? I have to really, for a son, I'd have to think. I'd probably take like the whole 9 months of pregnancy to figure it out. And I would think about it every day. Yusuf or Joseph, something like that. It also depends on where I live. Boyd, thank you so much for being a patron. What do you think might be the consequences of encountering extraterrestrial life? You know what the scary thing is? I think if we encounter extraterrestrial life, there would be no change that we notice. Things would change, we just wouldn't notice the change. And that's what's fucking scary. Talon, thanks so much for being a patron. You see any new role for a Comintern or some kind of equivalent? Nope, I think that's outdated. And the reason I think it's outdated is because look what happened historically. Actual sovereign communist states came into existence, which introduced a whole new level of maturity to the international communist movement and responsibility. You need to have sovereign states know how to interact and cooperate, not parties and not groups of people. Do you think we should implement the MAGA Communist mass line in the Communist Party? No, that's a dead giveaway right now. Strengthen your position in the party by doing whatever it takes. And the MAGA communism thing, you've got to do it on the side. Don't openly talk about it in the party. You can talk about, now you can recommend people into the party. Slowly. Get your people in, you know? We're practicing taqiyya. Mouse, thank you so much for being a patron. Have you ever considered turning Infrared into an explicit corporation that makes money in ways beyond donations? Yes. Perhaps without even having to confine yourselves merely to alternative media. Don't know what you have in mind, but yeah, that is actually a goal. Second question, a big reason Infrared's internet notoriety is its community. Beyond the decentralized info-partisan guerrilla warfare being waged on Twitter and TikTok, is there anything else in the community should focus on their efforts on? Be good role models. Be good role models. Black Ghost, thanks for being a patron. Is the only good Communist Party in Italy 1% of the votes this election? You might not know about the party in particular and about the situation in Italy, so my question is, what will CPUSA do once it becomes based again in order to be successful? Is there anything that could apply to other communist parties around the world? Now, I don't know to what extent Euro-communism has rendered that obsolete in other places in the world. I'm not saying I think that, I just don't know. I'd have to study. In your view, how long would the EU last? Not more than 10 years. But that's maybe 5 years. What would be the tipping point of its dissolution? Maybe the energy crisis this winter. Honestly. Lucio, thank you so much for being a patron. When people point out the Democrats were pro-slavery, a lot of modern-day liberals will say that the U.S. political parties switched sides and that this talking point about liberal racism holds no value. What is the merit if their parties switched claim? There is no merit. The parties didn't switch. It's a lie. They claim the voter base switched, but that's not true. I haven't seen any evidence for that. I mean, it's literally a myth. Now, the idea is like during the 70s, there was something called Reagan Democrats. Reagan Democrats. And that was the switch. But there was no switch. The reason FDR was a merger of the Southern Democrats with populists and the progressives. But the progressives were derivatives of the slavocrats. The based element there is the populists, who represented the small Southern farmers and former black Republicans. So that's the history. There was never a definitive switch. In what ways did the two parties remain constant in their worldview throughout the realignment? The idea is electorate voting. Like, the Democrats started getting the black vote and Republicans started only getting the white vote. I think that's why they say there was a realignment. But in terms of a shift there wasn't really much, I don't think. Not more than there has been a shift within the respective parties themselves. Like, for example, there's ups and downs in the history of U.S. politics. It's not necessarily correlated to which party, right? Mundo, thanks for being a patron. Can you talk about what Marx was getting at when he said, the philosophers have only interpreted the world? The point, however, is to change it. How often is it misread by Marxoids? The way I interpret Marx there is not activism, which is how it is misread in terms of it's misread in terms of voluntarism and activism. Marx is saying the point of philosophy itself refers to some kind of difference in the world itself. Like, that is the real point of philosophy. And yet, philosophers have never been able to grasp that because of that law of identity, A equals A. So they miss their own point, basically. The philosophical development attests some kind of transformation in the world itself, is how I interpret it. Janar, thank you so much for being a patron. You find inspiration in the style or message of Socrates. I don't know what you mean by that. Do you mean like being angry and stuff? Or is there a communistic significance to the form of the Republic as such? Yeah, there is. It's res publica. So yeah. Under multipolarity, does the Republic sublate to civilization or big space? I think they're compatible. Republic just means res publica. So, the Roman Republic was a big empire, but it was called a republic. The reason it started getting called an empire wasn't because it got bigger. It was because there was a change in how it was governed. There was a monarchy. Noah, thanks for being a patron. What's your favorite Kanye album and why? I literally just zoned out. I don't know anything about Kanye West. I'm a fake fan. And yeah, I don't even know who that guy is. Secondly, if allowed, when you're studying history, what questions do you ask yourself, and what general attitude do you bring when engaging with the text? Um, I don't study history that way. I just go down rabbit holes. That's all I do. I go down rabbit holes. What goal do you set your sights on in order to I don't set a goal. I have a rabbit hole where it's like I gotta connect dots, and dots need to be connected because they're not connected, right? So I need to know more based on prior questions that open up through a dialectic process. So that's what it is. I'm thinking about Res Publica. That's what's on my mind. Republic. That's so interesting. That's so interesting. Mouse, name 3 good TV shows. True Detective season 1 and 2. K-dramas like Sisyphus. And what did I watch? What have I watched? I don't fucking know. I don't know, man. I don't know. I forgot. I watched a lot of shit before. I forgot everything. Oh, Marco Polo from Netflix. That one's good. What is why stay honorable, Natty, in this satanic world? Because I'm terrified of steroids because of all the shit they do to you. Sean, thanks for being a patron. What are your thoughts on futurarchy? Don't know what that is. Futurarchy and decentralized production markets are common ideas in the blockchain crypto world. Interesting. I don't know what to say. I'm not familiar. Demian, thanks for being a patron. Does liberalism, capitalism inherently tend toward inequality? Yeah, it does, because it imposes equality of the law, which allows for real inequalities to it creates equality of form, leading to a huge inequality in content. Dialectics shows why that's the case. Joe Steele, thanks for being a patron. Hello, I'm not too late. Could you clarify what you mean when money capitalism materially exist under U.S. imperialism because of digital currency? I have never heard of that. I mean, I don't remember saying that, Joe. I don't remember saying that. Aren't the arranged bits of the computer just an abstraction based on the real electrical flow between the computers? No, because it's an operational abstraction, practical abstraction, which retrochronically determines the flux of electric flows. I think that's how it works. through software when you're coding. That's how it works. How does it fucking work? I don't know how fucking computers work. I studied how they worked before, and then I forgot. You get a power voltage, you put it in, goes into the motherboard, and then it goes through the firmware, which is pre-coded. The firmware is pre-coded somehow. And it goes to the central processing unit, which has a series of switches, and the ones and O's code for the switches. And the arrangement of these switches produce outputs. What I'm struggling to understand is the order of causality. Like, does software determine electricity, or what's the, you know what I mean? Like, it's computers are so weird because they're retrochronic, right? The firmware is injected electronically. I'm pretty sure firmware is it's like in between hardware and software. So it's like it's hard. It's not capable of being. Make it easier to work with. I don't buy that, dude. Yeah, to produce the outputs, but the outputs, how are they produced? It's so fucking weird. I don't know. I don't know. I think digital format is just a more advanced form than the innovation made with paper currency in China. Okay, Joe, I don't think I ever said what you're saying. I think I talked about gold is what matters, not digital. Sankaras, thanks for being a patron. Why do social sensibilities let the songs outcry when material ones don't? Let's take the protests in Iran in the face of the point of discussion. For 40 years, the West has brutally sanctioned Iran, and for 30 years, the Soviet Union collapsed. They've been left alone on the proverbial island. Yet, it's only a problem when there's some sort of social realm to engage with. The Westerners doesn't have such a big problem with it. Should women not have to wear hijabs, or shouldn't the women of Iran starve and like access to medicine? I think it's because like they find it relatable. No one can relate to starving from sanctions, but people can relate to the idea of, oh my god, imagine if it was The Handmaid's Tale, and you know that's pretty much what it is. We presuppose our ability to eat and our ability to support ourselves. We just presuppose it. And we shouldn't do that, by the way. And then we also obsess over it with the climate apocalypse stuff. Oh my god, the most base level of human subsistence, we're gonna be cut off from the food supply, and the rainforest will blow up, and the climate is gonna choke us. The very air we breathe will be poisoned. So it's an interesting dichotomy, right? The answer is dialectics. Most painful answer of all. Dur Teresco, thanks for being a patron. Maybe still a question, but is there any philosophical significance to Einstein's theory of linkage of space and time? Oh yes, there is. Supposedly, it's a disproval of the Kantian structure of criticism. That's what's commonly said about that. For Kant, space and time are synthetic a priori, whereas according to Einstein, space and time are out there. And they're not in our minds, they're actually out there as real things. Just spooky to think about. Mouse, thanks for being a patron. From Wednesday's stream, it seems that part of your strategy is to cultivate an elite loyal brotherhood of uninstitutionalized, based trad philosopher Jedi monks through occult mysticism by imparting timeless esoteric wisdom. Would you say my characterization of the ideal infidel is mostly correct? I don't have time to check, dude. That's a lot of stuff. But sure. Benign, thanks for being a patron. What are your thoughts on remote viewing, astral projection, the so-called gateway, and other related psychic fields? I have no interest in them. JX NGList, thanks for being a patron. How do you feel about the shock therapy and hydrotherapy? And I don't know I don't know anything about that. Zolo, thanks for being a patron. You have a favorite section of 1,000 Playtius, but it's been a long time. So no. It's been a long time since I cracked that up. All that is solid. How would you make sense of, thank you for being a patron, value in the time of fiat currency? Any theory of value needs to be retrochronic or retrocausal. So instead of value being stored in something prior and then suspended in the sphere of exchange, the sphere of circulation and the sphere of exchange has to somehow participate in the production of value itself. Not so much the production, the sealing of the value form, the sealing, right? You have to start thinking about things in the opposite way that you used to think about them. A theory of value has to take into account energy, most of all. Benign, thanks for being a patron. From reading of Dugan's theories of space, would you draw from a country that is both land and sea-based, the island continent? We seem to be a consistent historical exception. Even Lenin noted about how capitalism was developing here. I don't know anything about Australia. But I think something funky is going on there. It's a weird place. Could also be an interesting place. Kanye, thanks for being a patron. You mentioned that one-sided thinking subjugates an object's imminent contradiction to a one-sided form while ignoring the dialectics. Does this mean the contradiction is only proper only to the content in a way that escapes the grasp of its formalization? Or does the form we give it participate in of course, form participates in the dialectic. Being one-sided about content is the same thing as formalism. Because the way in which you're one-sided about content, it's called form. What is the relationship between the contradiction as it persists in itself and the contradiction between the object and the form we ascribe to it? The contradiction between the object and the form we ascribe to it is the contradiction as it persists in itself, in the object. That is what it is. That's the expression of its internal contradiction. After all, where does humanity come from, if not the contradiction within the real? Jacob, thank you for being a patron. Wow, you really got your money's worth with this one. I'm just kidding. One, my grandfather-in-law, let's call him, is attempting a grassroots run for mayor in a small Arkansas town. He's pro-MAGA. So needless to say, at the moment, he's not much between leftists and conservative, but between populists and swamp thing conservatives. It's a beautiful coincidence the MAGA communism meme came out and revolutionized my worldview. At the same time, the campaign has taken off. And I was asked to come to lend my efforts. My advice to the campaign for Renegresses is to go on the offensive, sue the outrage, cultivate the outrage, give form to the outrage. They're afraid of drawing the ire of the mayor, who is not afraid to employ dirty tricks, using the local authorities, the legal system to harass. What's the line between making inroads and dancing with the devil? What other advice from a Marxist perspective for handling the opportunity in the most productive way possible? I think the line is the line would be betraying your base. So don't betray your base. Build a foothold in your people, in that community. Dig your feet in the dirt. That's who you should be loyal to. That means meeting them where they're at. Meet them where they're at. So you don't have to die on the hill of immediately ending the GOP. That's what the ultra leftists were saying, in 2016 or in 2015 when Bernie was running, and that would have been ultra leftists to say that at that point. So understand the primary contradictions, give expression to them in a better way. Dig your feet in the soil, and don't be afraid to expose truths. Just expose the truth, expose the corruption. Don't hold back on doing that. Focus on the content, exposing corruption. What is your opinion on China's COVID policy? I know you're against America's comparatively lenient COVID measures, so how does this correspond to your view on China's? I don't believe in policy without polity, and you can't have polity without people. So, in other words, we can't talk about China's COVID policy without talking about the Chinese people and the relation they have to their government, which is one of grassroots, volunteer, collaboration, a very close dialectic goes on between the Chinese people and their government that doesn't exist in America. So I don't think we should try. It's not a model that can be imposed because the people are the key factor to China's COVID response. Chinese people are the single biggest factor, not any government policy. Policy works symbiotically with the people. It's not imposed at the expense of people. China is a people's republic. What do you think the major political contradiction within China is at the moment? Probably like in Russia, between the Westy globalist liberals and the sovereign forces of sovereignty, the Xi, the Xi wing. What are the lines of domestic political cultural controversy, if any? I think it's things like the COVID response stirs some controversy. Local corruption, probably. All sorts of things, right? There's all sorts of things. Usually local stuff, to be honest. Nothing that imperils the stability of the state, like in America. Nothing that is an indictment on the entire thing. Orvo, thank you so much for being a patron. What's the difference between postmodernism and modernity? I mean, the typical response is something like, modernity places a special emphasis on universalism, linearity of time, the negation and abstraction, whereas postmodernism puts an emphasis on a non-linearity, difference, context as opposed to some kind of object like empiricism or rationalism. You know, postmodernism is an emphasis on a diversity and plurality of perspectives and views and orientations. Modernity is Oedipal. Postmodernism is post-Oedipal. I mean, those are the kind of... These words mean nothing concretely. Modernity might, but postmodernism means nothing concretely as far as I know. It's just a loose association of associations. Puerto Rican guy, thank you for being a patron. Why are you so sure Lula's being used by globalist forces? Rather than him, the OG of all BRICS, alongside Putin, playing those forces along in order to gain power and set Brazil, Latin America, and the world on an anti-globalist path. Because that's like QAnon for fucking... That's like pretty much fucking QAnon. It's like Lula QAnon, dude. I don't buy it. Right? Just don't buy it. Just like I don't buy QAnon. I don't buy the other shit. Anyway, guys. We're going to wrap this up. Wrapping this up. One last thing. There's one thing that's one of the things that interests me actually about the Blazer discourse. You know, what's really important about the type of the